Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm doing something pretty much completely different. This is a community-run format that I've never played before. It is Tiny Leaders Reborn. And I am here with ThatMillGuy, and he will be my guest and opponent for the day. And that's great because he's actually played this format before. I got some experience. Go ahead, introduce yourself and your experience with the format.
I appreciate you. Well, as mentioned, Shaf, aka ThatMillGuy, coming to join this video to showcase a little bit of Tiny Leaders Reborn. Now, if you wanted to find me outside of the games, you can find me on the Mill Discord, which will be linked down below. Find me on Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, all the usual spaces where you probably see me fighting with my clone on some type of infinite combo in Commander or whatever it might be. But yeah, today, in terms of the format itself, we'll talk about the decks we're going into, but I myself will be playing a mono black Acererak combo deck, as well as a Ashiok control deck, but it's a mill deck because the win condition is milling you over. But that's where I'll be kind of showcasing the format today.
Right, and let's specify that you will be playing not Ashiok Dream Render, because that one is banned. What he said in the pre-show conversation, he was like, yeah, I'll play Ashiok. I was like, oh my god, that sounds horrific. And it seems that the Tiny Leaders Reborn committee agrees because that card is banned.
Very much so. Yeah, very much so. Mega banned. For many of you that have had that card resolve against you out of nowhere or dark ritualed into it, whatever you might want, the card's insane when it wants to be.
Yeah, the old Bosch heads know from the Twitch streaming days, the Ashiok game ender Twitch emote, because every time I resolved that card, the game ended. The good old days. All right, I'm going to talk about this format itself for a minute. I've dragged their website onto the screen. This is tiny-leaders-reborn.blogspot.com, and this will be linked in the video description. They have a Discord. They're on socials and stuff. They have a Moxfield. If you're interested in this format, you could check it out. And the overview of the format, Tiny Leaders is a Commander variant that came out probably 10 years ago, would be my guess. And I remember when it came out because I actually played a bit of it. My local play group were kind of into it. We're into the idea of a new format. And I remember I built Alesha Who Smiles at Death. That's my first one. And the things here, the important parts of this format, it's made for 1v1, so it's not a multiplayer format. Your deck has 50 cards, including the commander, so half the size of commander. Your commander has to be a legendary creature or a planeswalker, and every card in your deck, including the commander, must have a mana value of 3 or less. And then, other than basics, it's singleton. Color identity follows the commander rules. Starting life total's 20. And you can have a 10-card sideboard, because we do play best of 3. The commander attacks works the same way as commander. Commander movement works the same way as commander. I really like this rule. If you have 2 commanders, if you're taking advantage of the completely broken partner mechanic, you have to bottom a card like you mulliganed. And beautiful. Wish effects have to come out of your sideboard, just like constructed tournaments. And they have this whole website if you want more information. It's important to differentiate this from Tiny Leaders because Tiny Leaders Reborn is a little different. They handle split cards differently. My decks today include Fire Ice, which has a total mana value of 4, but what they call a mana value identity of 2 because it's 2 different 2s, although it counts as a 4. This version of the format would count it as 2 2s. And call it a 2. They don't add it together, where Tiny Leaders does. And they have a different ban list. Like, I have Mana Drain in one of my decks today, and that card is banned in Tiny Leaders, but it's cool here. And
same. I got the Mana Drain as well.
Yeah. Okay, we are back on screen now. Did I describe the nuts and bolts well enough there? Is there anything important that I missed?
Nothing at all. No, I think you highlighted it pretty well. Just being that distinction, especially one that it's community driven. You know, there's no quote unquote official overhead. We're not, for many of you with their disdains, not stuck to any RCQ seasons or anything. Definitely one that if you're a part of that community, one that's growing, you will see meaningful change in the games that you play as you look to kind of curate with that community.
Cool. Yeah. And this video was sponsored by my Patreon subscriber, Joseph, who is a big fan of the format and wanted to put it on the screen for everyone. Oh, shout out Joseph, shout out this community, shout out this Discord. All of those links are in the video description if you're looking for a new format to play. With that, are you ready to go play some Tiny Leaders Reborn?
Always, always.
All right, cool. Let's do it. The two decks I'll be playing for this challenge are Leovold and Ral. Both of these decks come from Patreon subscriber Joseph directly. There are some lands up here, but the deck doesn't fit entirely on the screen. So important lands that won't be on the screen are Boseiju, and otherwise it's just stuff that makes mana. These decks are 50 cards with a 10 card sideboard because you do play best 2 out of 3. And this deck is kind of my dream. When you're guaranteed to have Leovold in your hand at all times, it becomes very easy to just put a bunch of value nonsense around that. You don't have to really think about your lock piece or your threat because it's right here. It's available to you, such as the joy of commander formats. And you just get to surround it with stuff like Inquisition, Thoughtseize to clear the way, Deathrite Gem to ramp it out, counter spells to protect it once it's there. But you're not even that worried about protecting it once it's there, because if they try to do anything about it, you draw a card and you're just automatically up a card at all times. They have to counter it on the way down for you to care at all. That's the power of Leovold. And just cards I love in this deck: Uro, Baleful Strix, Psychic Frog, Aborenaculus, Barrogoyf, the Bone Zone. I love all of these cards. And there's even a little Nadu package supported by exactly Lightning Greaves. And a deck like this one is, of course, customizable. Any card in the Sultai colors that cost 3 or less could be in this deck. And I'm sure you could build combo-oriented builds. You could lean harder into Nadu if you want. You could cut this package entirely and just play more discard spells, more reanimates, more whatever. The Sultai Wedge just lets you do whatever you want for the most part. And when you have permanent access to Leovold, you just get to play in the sandbox. This one's pretty clear. It's just a bug midrange. And this one, I believe, is going to be up against his Acererak combo deck. And being a mid-range deck versus a combo deck should be pretty good gameplay. I like my side of it with all this interaction I have. And once again, guaranteed access to Leovold against a mono black deck. Good luck with your discard spells and whatever. But it should make for fun gameplay. And then my other deck is Ral Monsoon Mage. There are, once again, lands up here. There is also Fire Ice that's going to be cut off, a card that is legal in Tiny Leaders Reborn, but not traditional Tiny Leaders, because its total mana value is 4, but its mana identity is 2. Fiery Islet is a tech land, Gemstone Caverns is a tech land, and other than that, here are the spells. This is just Ruby Storm. I suspect that these games will be less interesting than the Leovold games. Kind of the Ruby Storm experience is you're off and doing it, or you're not. And if you are off and doing it, the opponent gets to sit and watch you fiddle with yourself until you find the Grape Shot or the Brain Freeze. And if you're not doing it, you get to watch the opponent do whatever while your hand is full of rituals that don't go anywhere. Hopefully the games are uninteresting in my direction. I think it is interesting to solve a singleton storm chain. That could be fun. And cards like Runaway Steamkin, I haven't played with this card in many years, not since it was standard legal, but when you're in a singleton format and you only get one desperate ritual, you got to find ways to keep mana pumping, and doing something like that is really cool. Bonus Round is a card I love to cast from Legacy Ruby Storm. Vivi, not welcome in other formats, but welcome here. I could even reasonably see a build of this deck where Vivi is the commander, though Ral obviously lends itself to Ruby Storm stuff where Vivi would be a slightly different type of thing. This one's going to be against MTG's Ashiok deck, which could be tough. I mean, the cards that still remain in my deck are important, and Ashiok does exile, a random exile that hits my Brain Freeze. Now I really only have Grape Shot left to win, or I guess cast 20 spells with VV in play. Shutting down my graveyard shuts down Breach, which is the core engine. This could be a hateful matchup, and it's just a blue deck, so counter spells are live, in addition to the black spells out of discard and the Ashioks and the various graveyard hate. This might be challenging to navigate, but if I do punch through the gap and get something going, we're going to have a good time. Those are my decks. We've set up the format. We've set up the matchups. All that's left to do is play it. Let's do that right now.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
Here we are. It is game 1. I am playing Leovold, Emissary of Trest, and Milguy is playing Acererak, the Arclich. I don't know how this goes infinite. This is cost reducers, bounces, and stuff, but I really like my hand. I mean, it casts Leovold and Command Tower, Ponder, Keep. Am I right? Oh, it's something that is necessary for me to explain is that this format is not supported specifically through Magic Online. We are playing a game of freeform Commander, which is the kind of do whatever you want, everything is fake setup. Quick reflexes. Do I want that? I don't think so. Our sideboards, the way that we have to play the best of 3 is build our sideboard. We leave the game, we play best of 1, we leave the game, we sideboard, build a deck with the sideboard we want, and then we do another best of 1 challenge. It's a little bit of rigmarole, but it does let you play the format. And Milguy clarified to me after we finished the intro that Ashiok Game Ender is legal in the 75 or the 50. It is not legal as Commander, so it's not full banned as I would hope. All right, so he saw that cast down twice and didn't take it, and then played a creature into it. He did also mulligan pretty low. I guess we just jam Leo here, right? And I don't think Acererak can go infinite from 3 mana, and playing it just enters the dungeon. Yeah, I'm just gonna deploy my commander. Black, blue, green, Leovold. And if you don't know this, when you cast Leovold in real life, you have to put your elbow on the desk and extend your hand to your opponent. It is necessary. It is part of casting it's the cost of casting the spell. Do what Leovold's doing in the art. And if a judge gives you an unsporting conduct penalty, tell them they're a baby. Bitter Blossom. All right. I mean, Force Field activated. Opponent missed a land drop, though. Oh, baby. I like that one. I will attack my opponent's life points directly. And I'm just going to ram Nadu onto the stack. Just 3-drop beat down here. This will overwhelm the Bitter Blossom for sure. And if my opponent targets me, I draw a card. If they target either of my creatures, I flip a card, then draw a card. Oh yeah, here we go. So I draw a card, then I discard 2 at random. If this misses the Aborinoculus, I get to cast it. Oh, bummer. All right. But there is Snapcaster Mage in there. I could snap Destroy Bitter Blossom and just keep trucking here. That was an interesting block because Leovold is commander damage. And I guess if we start at 20, doing 21 commander damage probably doesn't matter that much. I actually don't care about Bitter Blossom. I'm pushing damage just fine, and Drown in the Lock is up. Snap Abrupt Decay could kill something that sets up Acererak. I can Once Upon a Time in the end step while still having up Drown in the Lock. I don't need to be aggressive about a card like Bitter Blossom. Who cares? Diabolic Intent. Counter target spell. Blue, black. And then now I have a full attack wide open for 6. And I can snap Drown in the Lock. Baleful Strix, Tarmogoyf, Grist. Grist feels really slow here. Strix draws a card. Tarmogoyf hits like a bus. All right, I'll take Tarmogoyf. Hitting like a bus sounds pretty good. Wash away, wow. All right. Attack. And I have access to Snap Quick Reflexes, which does trigger Nadu. Yeah, I think with my opponent at 6, holding up this Snapcaster Mage makes more sense. But this game he took some tough mulligans, duressed me twice, and then whatever. Cabal Writ is not Threshold. You can have that, I guess. Graveyard Trespasser. Alright, I will snap counter that. Alright, cool. We're up a game, and I will go to sideboarding. And the way that I have to sideboard here, this is my sideboard. This is in a separate deck list because Commander games can't have sideboards. And I'm going to decide what I'm boarding in, and then go to my freeform Commander deck and actually make that change. Veil of Summer seems great against the mono black deck. I think that's a slam dunk. Sudden Edict looks quite good versus... I guess I don't know how good Sudden Edict is. It's pretty bad versus Bitter Blossom, pretty good versus Emperor Bones, pretty bad versus Acererak. Force of Negation and Brazen Borrower, just knowing that they're a combo deck eventually sounds like these are things I want. And what are my cuts? I usually like always cut Once Upon a Time anytime it's available to me to do that. Witherbloom Command. It kills Bitter Blossom. That actually seems kind of mid. The Lightning Greaves is mostly in the deck to combo off with Nadu occasionally. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut Once Upon a Time, Grist, Witherbloom Command, and Lightning Greaves, and bring in these 4 cards. Okay, here is my deck updated with the sideboard changes, and I'm going to challenge for Game 2. Game 2, my hand looks solid once again. Interactive spells and the ability to cast Leovold. This is entirely my type of deck, by the way. I am going to snap keep this. I feel like the situation with a deck like this one would have to be outrageously dire for me to mulligan any hand that casts Leovold. Just pretend these other 4 cards aren't here, I would keep this hand. Which is, of course, the appeal of Commander. You just always have your best card. Thoughtseize. Oh, opponent took another deep mulligan, and I can seize his thoughts. Ooh. What is this? The Sibsig Ceremony. Let's go. Creature spells you cast cost 2 less. Whenever a creature you control enters, if you cast it, destroy it, then make a 2/2 Zombo. That's pretty dope with Acererak. I mean, I'm taking him to Turok, though. And we are showcasing kind of a fundamental experience of playing combo versus control, where my opponent has a big wall to get over. I'm going to counter this ceremony however I need to. Yeah, which I guess is Force of Negation, pitching Mental Misstep. That card just looks too good. I could have brainstormed for Velocity, I guess. And I'm still just casting Leovold. You can't stop me. All I want to do in Magic is cast Leovold. Give me a Commander format where this is legal, and I will come. And by come, I mean arrive. To play the game. Nothing else. Alright, here we go. We're slow dungeoning. So Acererak bounces to the hand, and you don't have to enter the Tomb of Annihilation, but that is the dungeon that Acererak cares about, but it's one of the other dungeons that kills you. There's one dungeon where one room is like, drain your opponent for 1. Alright, gain 1 life. We are in the Man Mage. You gain a life, creatures can attack, draw some cards, make some skeletons. Alright, so we're in the big dungeon. The value one. Cool. Now I have Psychic Frog, and I can counter any spell that costs 3 or less, which is all the spells, because that's the format. Drown on the Lock is nice. And dungeons. Non-initiative dungeons don't appear frequently on my Legacy channel, because traditional dungeons aren't as good. This one does not tick down during your upkeep, and it does not happen... Like, I don't get it if I hit my opponent. Every time my opponent ventures into a dungeon, they move forward 1 room. Could happen many times in a turn or 0 times in a turn. Okay, went into the Scry level with that one, and I'm just going to go to my turn. I'm not going to fetch my Surveil land because that would tap me out of Drown in the Lock, and I don't think I can lose this game unless I choose to. All right, hit you for some damage, and Zap in Watery Grave. Just more interaction up. This Phyrexian Tower is a little spicy. This can happen underneath Split Second because it's a mana ability. Target creature can't attack until your next turn, but that does draw me a card if opponent goes into the Twisted Caverns. If they go into the Goblin Bazaar, they get a treasure. Contamination. All right, this card's sweet. This is all, it's like Blood Moon, but swamps. And it's not non-basics. It's all lands only tap for black. However, you need to sacrifice a creature every turn to do that. If opponent follows up with Bitter Blossom, I have Sudden Edict, which is a black card, so my opponent would have to come up with 2 creatures for me to care about this. I think I want to brainstorm and fetch in response, and then decide how I want to handle this. Okay, put back these lands that I don't need, and then I'll fetch a Surveil land. The Doctor, that's a black card. All right, I am going to leave this on top. I'm going to let Contamination resolve. The only card in my hand I can't cast is Drown in the Loch. And I have 3 ways to kill whatever creature they'd like to sacrifice to Contamination next turn. Hers is Incubator. Okay. Creature spells of the chosen type cost 2 less to cast. All right. That's the Acererak grind. I mean, great job getting that going. I am going to have to kill Acererak here to at least get a commander tax going on him. Does that matter? I mean, this is happening, obviously. Oh, create a treasure token. Yeah, I don't want Acererak happening twice this turn. Well, I will let this resolve, and then I'm going to Fatal Push him. I do have Revolt from my earlier fetch. Let's at least make this thing cost more with commander tax. That's the last thing he's got going on, 0 cards in hand. So Contamination will just die on the next turn. This was kind of a mini time walk that actually didn't even time walk. All right, targeted Leovold, so it can't attack, which draws me a card. This game is fun. Attack with Psychic Frog, draw a card. Deathrite Shaman is the only castable card in my hand. I guess I could Edict myself, but I'm not gonna. Okay, pass and Contamination will die. And that unlocks my counterspell, and we're back in business. Okay, Acererak costs 3 right now. It's 5 minus 2, which means next time it'll cost 5, which is 7 minus 2, which my opponent does not have. The next one is Scry 2. I think I would prefer if this just... Why can't I counter this? Oh, Controller's Graveyard. I was thinking about Drown in the Loch backwards the whole time. Oopsie. All right, I guess I'm going to kill it. All right, Acererak resolves. And it does have to die. I'll Sheoldred's Edict. Sacrifice a non-token creature of your choice. Could feed it to the tower in response. That's 5 mana. Back to the command zone. This is the most fun and fair Acererak I've ever played against in any game of Magic. It's like actually doing what it's supposed to do, as Garfield intended. The tricky thing here with this bottleneck is that he only needs to get Acererak on the stack or in play once without being dead. So this one costs 5. The next one would cost 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can still do it. We've got exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play them or make 2 skeletons. The skeletons are annoying. I guess I'm going to Sudden Edict. I just can't let him have the Acererak in hand where it costs 1 instead of 7. Okay, back in the command zone. Make in 2 spooky skeletons. Ooh, that swamp killing the City of Traders might have been a huge mistake, actually. Might need that mana next turn. And that is the 3rd card for Drown in the Loch. Scry 3, and then draw 3 cards, cast 1 of them for free. Okay, well, that doesn't really work with Leovold. Draw 0 cards, because it has to happen on your turn. All right, I am going to start with Baleful Strix. Decide where the rest of my turn is going to go. Tamiyo. I could flip that right now. And still have Drown in the Loch available. Hell yeah. Tamiyo. Ponder. Abrupt Decay. We love that. We love Snapcaster Mage also. Alright. Don't shuffle. Do flip Tamiyo. Plus that. Land drop. I do want to jump the Frog. And then attack with Leo and Frog. Get a block there. I draw the Snapcaster. And I have access to Drown in the Loch or Abrupt Decay. It's pretty nice. Cabal Ritual. All right, that's +1 mana. That's fine. Got to feed the skeleton to the tower. And now Drown in the Lock from the top rope. A fetch. I need blue and black. I've got it off trop. Counter target spell. Black, blue. We got the GGs. That was honestly awesome. Grinding through that Acererak that actually moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rooms into the dungeon. Then I had to counter or kill it 4 times. Nice. I feel like this matchup is probably favored just because how sick my interaction suite is, and him mulling to 5 both games didn't help his cause. And of course, a deck like this one is infinitely customizable. Just your options are any card that is interactive or sweet in the entire Sultai wedge of colors. Like, I don't know if supporting this Nadu package is worth it, but it's kind of sweet. Your counter spell spread, up to you. Once upon a time, is that necessary, or can we just play a good card? A card that's always good, not a card that is conditionally good to find you a good card in certain situations. But I mean, I'm not going to rebuild the whole deck here, just talking about the deck building potential of 50 card singleton when your commander is something as reliable as Leovold. Awesome. You can't see me, but I'm doing the elbow on the desk hand extended thing. GG. On to the next round of new decks. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I am on the draw for Game 2. Opponent has kept a hand finally. We've got Ashiok Nightmare Weaver, plus exile the top 3 cards of target opponent's library. X, put a creature card with mana value X onto the battlefield under your control. -10, exile all cards from opponent hands in graveyard. It's good that this is exile-based mill for my opponent because I'm a Underworld Breach deck. I think I just like keep hands that do stuff, right? Sounds good to me. There are important cards. Like if Ashiok randomly exiles my Brain Freeze, things get a little wonky, but it's fine. And here, appearing in the game already, is Fire Ice, a card that is not allowed in regular Tiny Leaders, but is allowed in Tiny Leaders Reborn. What are we working with over there? Emperor of Bones. That's a popular choice in this showcase all around. It was in my deck last round and my opponent's deck, and here it is again. I do love that card. Okay, I think I'm going to Brainstorm now, which is not generally how you cast Brainstorm, but in combo decks where you might use all your mana for the rest of the game, I'm pretty into it. All right, I'm going to go Prismatic Vista, Cascade Bluffs back. And now this Runaway Steamkin's actually messed up. But I can go Steamkin now. Next turn, Ral, trigger Steamkin, Ritual for 1, trigger Steamkin. That gets like everything going for the rest of life. Like if an opponent doesn't kill this Steamkin, it might just be dead. What I have to think about here with Misty Rainforest is, do I play around cards like Opposition Agent and Ashiok and stuff, or leave the land on top of my deck? And I will play around the cards that could end my life. All right, pass the turn. Opponent is in check. May or may not know it. Force of Will costs 5, so we're not playing that one. Oh no, the Game Ender. I'm glad I fetched. All right, cards that just left my life are Lotus Petal. That's actually really important in my breach lines. Lotus Petal and Frantic Search are the breach payoffs. By the way, I am making this up as I go along. I don't know what the heck's going on, but I'm going to do some cool stuff this turn, guaranteed. All right. Ral on the stack. Steamkin, bang. All right, how does this one work? If this creature has fewer than 3, so when I get to 3, I do have to spend the mana or else it goes away. P-Rit. Ral flip. I am not ready to flip Ral. Strike it rich. Ral did not flip successfully. I think it's time for... I could fire, so recoup, target sorcery card near flip. Recoup Galv Relay could be my endgame here. Okay, I think I want to Expressive Iteration. Oh, Frantic Search. That is one of my better cards. That one goes in my hand. And I can't actually use... Oh, wait, there's a Striker Rich in my graveyard. So I'll put Scalding Tarn on the bottom, exile Consider. I could get there. All right. Ramp with Steamkin. Strike at Rich costs 2. Oh, that could get Frantic Search going. That's so much better. Hold on. Hold the frickin' phone. Yeah, Strike at Rich turns on Frantic Search, which then gives me my lands back for Consider. This costs 2, so I'd have 2 floating plus this. That's exactly enough to Frantic Search. Or no, I have the cost reducer as well. Holy moly. All right. We're having a good time. All right, what is the number where I'm happy with this? How does this card work? 2 starting loyalty, -8. I've cast 1, 2, 3, 4 spells this turn. All right, so I'm not ready to flip this. And a cost reduced Frantic Search from hand. Putting the Frantic Search in the graveyard is a little dangerous because if I miss, then Search and Lotus Petal are both in exile. I just gotta send it though. Thundering Falls discarded, and Recoup casts a sorcery, not an instant. Importantly, I think I want to dump. Or Fire Ice is a redraw. Galvanic Relay sets me up huge for next turn. Like Relay, Recoup, Relay might actually flip my entire deck. Or I gotta actually be careful not to get milled out because he has Milieu for 4 and Milieu for 3. Like Milieu for 7 is just face up right now. So passing the turn with a small deck might not be good enough. I hate when my deck is small. All right, I'll discard Galvanic Relay, untap my 3, and okay, Rite of Flame is free money. Heads, are we there? Storm count is 7, so I've cast 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spells. So this is actually there, but I have enough spells. I'm going to still say no. And then I need a red spell for Steamkin. I could recoup the EI, or I could just Consider. I think I want to Consider. This doesn't trigger Steamkin. It does trigger Rel. Ren's Resolve. Top. Resolve Ren, which also gets Steamkin back to the top. Exiled. Brain freeze. Who's the mill guy now? Storm is 9. All right. Okay, now I just have to build Storm. I need a blue eventually on this chain. I have a million red, so I could just go blue with this mana. I think I want to recoup Ren's Resolve. That sounds busted. Recoup that. Recoup Resolve. As long as I don't die to my own Ral. Glimpse the Impossible. We're having fun. We're having fun. And this is, gets Steamkin back to the roof. I am going to flip Ral. I think it's time. Make 3 red. I will exile top 8 cards of my library. And I also have Remand available that will be cast this turn, which can remand the Brain Freeze if there's some mess I need to think about. Okay. Probe you. Hand is Snapcaster, Ensnaring Bridge, Founding the Third Path. All right, so that's a bunch of nothing. And I think Stock Up is free. Hold on. What's going on here? You may cast instant without paying their mana cost. Why is it asking me to spend mana? Hold on. Where did that come from? Why am I being asked to spend mana on these? What am I misunderstanding? I think these are supposed to be free, but they're not. All right, Bolt you, I guess. I can also kill with Grape Shot here. Yeah, these are supposed to be free. Okay, float a bunch of blue because my red is fine. Fire you. And then Grape Shot is lethal and also gets Steamkin back to the top. Okay, and in response to this, I'm going to make 3 and also mill him out because milling out the mill guy, I can't pass that opportunity. This is turn 3, by the way. This format's pretty powerful. He got the nah, you don't get that from me in the chat. To the sideboards we go. For sideboarding here, he is a blue deck. Pyroblast seems safe. I don't know if he's the type of blue deck. I don't have the deck list. Like, is he full of counterspells or is he just going to be like doing stuff? I guess he's got a sideboard too, so I should assume that Defense Grid will be good, at least against the sideboard, if not against the main. Floodmaw could bounce something like Ashiok, Game Ender, if I need to search my deck. I generally try to keep it light, especially when I'm a combo deck. So these 3 cards look right. Passing the turn with Galvanic Relay seems risky against specifically my opponent's strategy, even though this card is phenomenal. And Runaway Steamkin. That was as far as I've ever seen a Steamkin run away in that game that we just played. I think I can cut Snap. I didn't see creatures. Well, the Bone Zone. I guess Dothy Voidwalker could be in the deck. That card would be moderately annoying, but yeah, and I can snap my own creatures, but there's only 1 in the deck. Or no, there's 1 that costs 1. There's 4 creatures in the deck. Lightning Bolt can be a win condition with Breach. I don't want to cut that, even if I don't think there's going to be a lot of creatures to bolt. Recoup was clutch. Shout out to old school Gifsling Given piles with Recoup and Yogwheel in them. Glimpse the Impossible. I know from playing Modern Ruby Storm that this card gets boarded out a lot. It's kind of the weakest of this effect. Am I going to have time to stock up? I would hate to cut the value engines like Glimpse and stock up and then just lose to a discard spell because my hand doesn't function. And I am on the draw, so Gemstone Caverns can stay in. I think it's Glimpse, Remand, Snap come out for these 3 cards. Okay, I'm going to do that, and then we'll go play the game. On the draw for game 2, this 1-lander that goes nuts at the second land. How many lands do I play? 14. That is not an inspiring number. I do get 3 looks at it, because I draw, surveil, draw. I'm going to try it. I understand that it's risky, but it's a calculated risk. 50 cards is smaller than a normal Magic deck. Much smaller than a normal Commander deck, obviously. Planar Void. All right, well, whenever a card is put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile that card. That is a triggered ability, which means there might still be some action on like a Breach kind of thing if I'm casting Instants. I might have to take this. It gets Ruby Medallion into play. All right. And blue-black, not well known for killing artifacts. Can I win next turn? Probably not. Craftdigger's Cage. All right, this is a hateful mess. And still holding up the blue for a potential Spell Pierce kind of effect. All right, Rite of Flame's good for 2. Yeah, the triggered ability removes it from the graveyard. I think I should play it safe here. Like if I go... Yeah, okay, Spell Pierce got my ass. If I go right ritual, Ruby, other ritual, Steamkin, then we could get real crazy that turn. But that just blows out an extra card. Yeah, Magic's easy. Always had it. Do I want to invest Ral Steamkin into 2 open mana? I mean, Steamkin is nutty busto. Go get him. Tiger. Eliminate. All right, it was eliminated. And this card is interesting because I'm a deck with 4 creatures in it. However, I have an extremely important commander who's also a creature, so you would still just leave your stuff in. I was going to slam EI, but now there's a Helm of Awakening here, which also helps my opponent, but I don't think I can say no to value. We love value. Sink into Stupor. All right. Yeah, we'll just do that again next turn. That's fine. Pass. Running my opponent out of cards is the name of the game here. A pass back without a land drop, which means the hand is all spells. Oh, look at me. Cheeky land drop. Expressive Iteration. Mana Drain. All right, well, that one's good enough. Opponent will have 2 extra mana next turn. This Sheldock Isle's pretty far away, but if I start comboing, it might turn on mid-combo, which is funny. And, of course, he is the mill guy. Presumably will be able to put me in that direction at some point. All right, Ashiok's here. Game on. Exiled 3 cards. Oh, got the Brain Freeze. That sucks. I'm going to have to win with Grape Shot, but I might have had to win with Grape Shot anyway. All right, gamers. I think it's go time. Ral, Monsoon, Mage. Heretic Ritual. Okay, with this on the stack, is there any reason to Desperate Ritual in response? I don't think so. That's exiled. Helm of Awakening. Might as well, right? I'm out of stuff to do. This might help my opponent, but it does give me Storm now. And you have to play these next turn. It's not like a Ren's Resolve where you get them until next turn. Oh, Consign to Memories. Fudged. Bad news, team. Okay, I get 1 card for next turn, and it was Volcanic Island. All right, that was good interaction. Pass. Exiled. Consider Steam Vents Island. I won't miss any of those. That's okay. This goes ultimate at 10. I'll spellbomb you. I get it. I get it. I can't do stuff from the graveyard. It might be reasonable just to cycle that off, because what else is it going to do? Ooh, J-Will. Opponent's got 2 cards in hand. So I would flip 2 and get 2. Is there a reason to hold my land drop? I don't think so. All right, I'll play my land, and J-Will costs 1. So it is a massive net. All right, cast with both abilities. So I flip 3, get 2 mana. That's a fun card to cast. I will not be activating Ral yet. Pyroblast. Bonus round Rent's Resolve. It could happen here, team. Jessica's Will is exiled. Bonus round doubles all spells cast this turn by all players. All right, a bonus round. Okay, that is exiled. Rent's Resolve, X2. Pyroblast still available to me. Simian Spirit Guide Scalding Tarn. That was as bad as that could go. Shatter Skull Smashing, another land. All right, that went pretty bad. I guess I'll cast 2 stock-ups for 1 mana. Is that good? I wish Ral had an indicator of how many spells you've cast. We're not there yet. But boy, do I wish we were. Vivi or Nitier? Well, I need the Grape Shot to win the game. I will take that for sure. Can I get Vivi into play? I don't think so. God, that's sweet, though. Am I setting up for next turn, or am I trying to win now? Storm is 4... I will run out of mana, is the problem. But Lotus Petal helps with that. If I go Bolt, Bolt, Grape Shot, that's 6, 5, 7. I mean, we're close, but I don't think I can do that. But stock up is going to happen again here. Oh, I still have this Pyroblast in exile. I think I'm actually going to take Vivi and invest in next turn, because I still want to Pyroblast Ashiok. Seething Song. Well, we might be back off. Hold on. That costs 1. Seething Song, Dragon's Rage Channeler, the Cataxian Probe. I think I want Probe, because that draws 2 cards right now, and I don't have to set up everything for next turn. All right, stock up, exiled. Probe you. Pay 2 life. Look at your hand twice. Liliana and Mind Grind. Let's go. Each opponent reveals until they reveal X lands cards. Oh, that's a lot. Okay. Uh-oh, Strike It Rich. 2 of those. We might be back in. Or we might be back. Hold on. This gives me 2, but this is a sorcery. Oh, and there's a cage, so this planar void trigger doesn't actually matter at all. Do I want this now or next turn? I can, if I Strike It Rich now, I could Seething Song, Fire. Can I get Vivi into play? I think I can. Okay, so I have Seething Song for 5 red, or 10 red. And then Strike It Rich, then Vivi. Okay, yeah, it's Vivi time. Seething Song. Okay, 10 red. Strike It Rich. Are we there on Ral? Storm is 7. I still think it's no. Treasure. Exiled. 1 blue, cast Vivi. Now we're gaming. Is this lethal? 2 fires deals 4. All right, Spellbomb. It's time to try to do something. Emergency draw a card. I still have 2 Pyroblasts available. Like 2 copies of 1 Pyroblast. Okay, here's Vivi. And then Fire. Target my opponent's life points directly. Bonus round, Ral, Vivi, all trigger. Vivi triggers, opponent's at 16. Fire, same targets. 2 to you. 2 to you. Opponent has not seen the Grape Shot in my hand. That came off a stock up. Pyroblast, target, Ashiok. I think Ral is there now, even though it appears to be bugged, and it may or may not matter if it's there. All right, I will flip Ral at this point. Vivi trigger, bonus round. That can also target Ashiok. So the Sheldock Isle is on now. That happened somewhere along the way in my combo, as we knew it might. And all right, let's see if this still doesn't work. Exile 8. Okay, here we go. The Sheldock is isling. Glimpse the Unthinkable. Okay, so I can't draw cards anymore this game. Oh, I can't draw. Okay, this is going to mill me for 20 because of bonus round. That's awesome. All right. My opponent can't make me do another one, right? So I can brainstorm twice now before this happens. Oh, yeah. What a sick game. For me. I mean, I don't know if it was fun for my opponent to watch me do all this shit. All right, put back Breach and Search. I'm going to see these cards again. Put back Command Tower and Breach. All right. Well, this shit all gets exiled. I could Frantic Search still with the VV mana. I wonder if my opponent could have killed me with a double glimpse. Like, did I have a draw trigger on the stack at some point? The VV mana, Frantic Searching with the VV mana over top of all this feels so sick. All right, I'm doing it. Add blue, 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 and then Frantic Search. I'm having a good time. Time of my life, even. My life has never been better than this right now. Breach and Command Tower. Untap 3. Make sure to float 3 before the other thing happens. Discard Preordain and Misty Rainforest. I'm not drawing any more cards this turn. All that's exiled. Now I get glimpsed twice. I have no deck remaining. 9 cards into exile. All right, always yield to this thing. And then glimpse mills 0. Then Rail exiles 0. And then I grape shot your ass. Oh yeah! What a time to be alive. Playing against the mill guy. One game I won by milling him out, and the other I won with 0 cards in my deck. You can't script this stuff. Nice. All right, that was sick. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. That was Tiny Leaders Reborn. We're back for a debrief. So
Something like that.
Yeah. So lifetime undefeated in this format, and I had a blast. I mean, you spent a lot of time watching me combo off or taking mulligans and then running into my wall of Leovold permission. So I don't know if that was as satisfying for you as it was for me, but I had fun.
I knew what I was signing up for when we kind of head into it, so I wasn't mad. I'll tell you what, if anything, there was like not even two, actually. There was just one moment where I was frustrated with myself. Even in game 1, like, yeah, you hit me with the wall of removal with Leovold, but I kind of just expected it. I was like, I'm playing Sultai control functionally. Like, I don't know if I will ever resolve a card. But the fact that I got to do something, at least in game 2, was like good enough for me. The combo stuff, oh my god. I have never played against the RAL deck. I did not realize how many options it had. Like, Jesus, the amount, like, Planar Void, Graph Diggers. I'm like, you got like 2 ways to cast stuff out of exile. No! Then you played, what was that 3 mana card? Red 1. Every time each of us casts a spell, it gets copied.
Bonus round, the Legacy Ruby Storm special.
It's like, what is this? And then I'm sitting there, not even realizing, like, we're just talking about it, but in the chat as well, that it allows me to copy my spell as well. So here I am sitting with Glimpse, and I'm like, okay, I know at least, like, you have the Pyro. First of all, you hit the nuts. You hit the Pyroblast. Not only do you rip the freebie Pyroblast, I'm screaming eternally. Then I realize I can copy it. So I'm like, oh, okay, at some point when you Pyroblast my Ashiok, I did have a window to do something, but regardless, it was a masterclass of quote unquote eternal magic. Truly.
Yeah, when the bonus round trigger went on the stack above your Glimpse, I had a moment of like, this is fine now, but was there a moment 3 or 4 cards ago with an actual draw trigger on the stack where you could have killed me? And
not even, it wasn't even like the draw. It was like there were clearer times where I could have done this where you had less options. 100% there was times, not even with the draw. Like, I think I'm trying to remember the sequence. Maybe I'm getting it wrong, but there were at least 2 spots. The minute it copied, it's like I saw my whole life flash before my eyes. I saw the 2 moments I had. I'm like, oh shit. The prof's infinite videos of reading the card explains the card. God damn it.
Yeah, and I mean, we don't have to dwell on this too much, but I will say in that match, in the rail game, I killed you with mill game 1, and then I beat you with 0 cards in my deck game 2. So,
Yeah,
you
look,
know, sorry to the Mill Guy brand.
look, the game one, like I was saying in chat, it doesn't count. Commander rules, I fizzled it by conceding on the stack. There was no mill happening whatsoever. There was a win. How you won it, undetermined. So.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. A player may concede at any time.
But yes, the mill brand is definitely not a fan of how many options Ral has. But okay, I appreciate a Storm deck being able to. I thought I had it in the bag. You know what? I was like, ooh, I got the Spell Pierce on the Ruby Storm. I had the Consign on the early Thing Storm for you to set up on next. It's like, oh, I got this in the bag. Nah, Brian, you're killing me right now.
Yeah, I mean, I was worried a couple different times. Like the Planar Void on turn one, I was like, okay, I assume there's going to be Graveyard Hate. And Planar Void's actually weaker Graveyard Hate because it does create a trigger where, and I was already thinking in my head, like, of resolving Breach and then frantic searching over the frantic search over all the exile triggers. And I was like, I can Breach win through Void.
Yes.
And then the next turn it was Grafting Sage. I was like, okay, well, that's dead. And then
yeah that's why I was like, I figured, I never played with the card, but I figured reading it made a trigger. That's why I kept my Snapcaster Mages. I was like, there's a world where I can have cards like there's a world where this works with certain options. It's not actually completely dead for me, but I appreciate a Storm win that doesn't require the graveyard. That was a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
that game 2 was great.
Bullying through Spell Pierce, 3 Graveyard Hate cards, and yeah, that was crazy. I mean, obviously these aren't my decks. Like they all came from Joseph, and I mean, he hooked us up with a banger on that Ral deck.
Yeah, I will say, I think like one thing that I've really learned from, you know, I got into Legacy in the last year. Like probably properly, it's been about a year since I've been properly playing Legacy. A little bit of Vintage, been playing some pre-modern recently, Commander for a while, and like just like kind of summarizing Eternal Magic in general now with like Tiny Leaders TLR. Like the one thing I notice is it's not like any other style of format where Modern isn't really Eternal, Standard Pioneer of course not. But even if answers come up, it always feels like there's a way out. And that's one thing I appreciate about all Eternal Magic, and I think Tiny Leaders accentuates that really well. You can always draw into something. There's always some combination of cards, a lot of times, if your deck's constructed decently, that can get you there. There is some type of state. Of course, you know, if they go Smokestack into, you know, whatever, Winter Orb, you know, like there's a world where you're not getting past anything. But I think this was like a good scenario of like, yeah, you can get shut out, but there's always an option.
Right.
It's always an option. But speaking of, and so in round one, match one, the Acererak combo. So game one, fair enough. I had a greedy hand. I had 2 reducers, 1 mana, and like 2 Thoughtseize effects. I think that was that game one.
Yeah.
And I was like, good enough. I just need to draw lands. Like I literally have everything I could possibly dream of right here. Even if you remove my Acererak twice, the 2 mana reducers, like take me the mile. And then, of course, you were able to get there much faster than me. So game one's a wash. Game 2, Brian, you're killing me. So I think that was the game, or no, game 1, I think was the game where I took your Island Ponder. I took your Island Ponder. I was happy about that. I took your Blue Source Ponder. Game 2, I thought I could grind you out. You had, I'm trying to think of the graveyard I was staring at. It was Spell Pierce into like, there was a Fatal Push in there. Then it was Fieldridge Edict and then Sudden Edict. I was screaming and
then
turning. Like,
in the
there's
lock.
no way.
And then I also had Snapcaster Mage in my hand at the end to do any one of those things again. Like, that game was really fun because I had to count your mana versus my removal versus your cost reducer. Because once, like, I was trying to figure out how your deck works on the fly, and realizing that a single cost reducer with Acererak in your hand, like once it's in your hand, commander tax doesn't matter anymore. So I actually do have to kill it each time to tax you.
Yes.
But you also kept hitting lands, and then I was able to just barely fend it off every turn. And I think you ended 1 room away from the ultimate Mad Mage.
Yeah. Because I chose that room specifically because I figured the way I beat you is by just casting more. And that one gave me a free cast at the end. I think where I ultimately misplayed, I think Actually, no, it didn't end up mattering because you had the sudden edict anyway. I was thinking like I played a swamp the turn before, which forced me to sack my city.
Yeah, I noticed that.
But I think like my mana didn't matter anyway. I topped the ritual in case, because I was planning. I kept the ritual planning for you to have removal. So quick, like the one more mana is gonna matter exactly. So I'm gonna keep this. I have a land in hand. I can sack city. I'm fine. Yeah, no, I tried to grind you out to get that last mode. You had all the removal. I tried my best. I even had the sack land, sack a creature. I was like, I'm ready. I have it. But
yeah,
no.
I was very much in my bag with that Leovold deck. I was saying on my side the whole time. It's like you just look at an opening hand that has 3 lands in it. Leovold's guaranteed because that's the nature of commander formats, and it's like I would keep a 3-card hand with 3 lands in this deck and be stoked. And the other 4 cards are flavor text, just cherries on top. And it turned out that in both games, my other 4 cards were not flavor text. They were like Drown in the Lock and removal spells and whatever.
Even with the Drown, like in game 1, what I was trying to do was, okay, I was putting a lot of cards into the graveyard, and I had Sibsig, and I had so you need to play Relic of Legends. Relic of Legends is a true infinite. It's a 3-mana artifact. You can tap a legendary, create 1 mana of any color, and then you use that mana to recast the thing. So I was thinking, okay, you have a Drown in your hand. I remember it was removal spell. I forgot the first spell I took, but then it was Drown Abrupt. And I took the Abrupt as my second pick because I knew I had graveyard hate spells in my hand to take stuff out of my own graveyard to beat the Drown.
Right.
But then you had an answer to, I believe it was the second piece of hate that I had. And I'm like, I'm so screwed. There's so many answers in this deck. It's doing so much.
Yeah, the Drown in the Lock was actually funny because I was leaning on it. I played it game 1, and then I was leaning on it for game 2 as my like ultimate trump card. And I actually forgot that it's the caster's graveyard and not mine. So like I thought Drown was on the entirety of game 2 until I tried to cast it at one point. I was like, oh, oops. But but then the City of Traders play put the 3rd card in the graveyard for your City of Traders that died when you played the swamp was the Drown.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking of that. Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
It was
I wasn't
really
even
tight.
thinking of that. Yeah. That one was close. So that definitely, I was like, I was happy because it was like, okay, you had all the answers, but it felt like I was able to make meaningful decisions, unlike like the game 1 we played. So I was happy with the game 2. Even like the game 2 of match 2, I was like, okay, there was meaningful decisions that I could have made to like improve it. So I wasn't upset you were storming off. I was upset though that you brain freeze me. I will take that personally. But especially in response to the initial storm on the sack. I will take offense to that, but it's okay. We forgive and we forget.
It was disrespectful by design, and I got the salt scoop I was looking for.
Yeah, you definitely got it. Salt scoop. I got synonyms for how I would describe that, but it's okay. Semantics.
Fair enough. Okay, well, I think we have showcased Tiny Leaders Reborn, and the website, if you're interested in this format, is available in the video description. And it's a high power format. It's an eternal format. A 50-card deck. You see the good cards so much more often. Like Duel Commander exists. Duel Commander, a full whole ass eternal format with Black Lotus tournaments firing all the time in France and stuff. Like that's a whole world. And this is kind of like if you just distill that down to the nastiest parts of it, and
the most efficient forms of it. Like you assume the best things, pretty much.
Right. All your cards have to be the most efficient because they have to cost 3 or less, and you're going to see them all twice as often because the deck's half as large. And everyone's commander is going to be involved every game because they have to cost 3 or less. And this does kind of just put Duel Commander into a cannon and fire it down your throat. Which if you like high power Magic, this is a place to be.
It's again a true showcase of Eternal Magic in like one of the best ways, I would argue. One of the best ways out there. But yeah.
Sweet. Well, I have been BoshNRoll. This has been the BoshNRoll channel. Thank you, Joseph, for this challenge. And you want to remind everyone where they can find you, and we will get out of here.
Yeah, of course. Thank you again for having me on here. Again, great games with some tiny leaders. This is Shaf, aka That Mill Guy. Feel free to find me on the Mill Discord, as well as on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Blue Sky, all that good stuff. flipping libraries wherever I can in any format, because thankfully alternate win cons are a beautiful part about this game, as you got to see in every single game.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for being here, and thank you, audience, for being here as well. And we're out of here. See you next time.
Later.